to know. Oh, yeah, we need to show. Listen, watch, and flow. You need to.
I need to know, I need to know, I need to know. You need to know, you need to know, you need to know. We all need to know. What do you need to know? What do I need to know? What do we all need to know? We need to know about ourselves. We need to know about others. And we need to know about God so that we'll be able to discover ourselves for us to be able to recover. If you can't discover yourself, it's very difficult for you to recover. So we are discussing about the book of Exodus. The book of Exodus, chapter 9, verse 12. We've talked about part 1. This is part 2. You can listen to the first part where we talked about the main question. We talked about who hardened the heart first. We talked about the three words used in the book of Exodus chapter 9 verse 12. The harden. When you are talking about harden, you must be able to understand the Greek, the Hebrew, and the Aramaic language so that you'll be able to interpret the Bible accordingly through the help of Holy Spirit. So we also, where we stop is, we also talked about what is judicial hardening. The judicial hardening of heart, and did Pharaoh have free will? Did you have free will to choose? The answer is 100% yes. God will never force himself, will never force his will, will never force his works, will never force his decision on you. It's now left for you to abide by the rules and regulation of God. If God says, don't move to this direction, you can decide not to obey. That's why there are two laws in the Bible, the moral law and the sovereign law. The moral laws, everybody go against it. That's thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not do this, the moral law, people are going against it. But the sovereign law, nobody can go against it. And God does not deal with us with sovereign law. He deals with us with moral laws. So we need to understand that did Pharaoh have free will? The answer is yes. Why? Because he already enslaved the Israelites. He already oppressed them for 430 years. He already rejected the warning, the early warnings, and let my people go, let my people go. Even through the plagues, the miracle signs and wonder that God has been showing him that let these people go. But he refused. God now responded by a response. God's hardens was a response. God hardens was a judgment. God hardens a means to display his divine power according to the book of Exodus chapter 9 verse 16. When you have been persisting, God told you, oh, accept Jesus, and you refuse. So the next thing is that it means to display his divine power. That the next thing is that you it's just like the government says, don't steal, and you continue stealing. When they arrest you, they will pass judgment. So, and there's nothing you can do. So why did God do this? Exodus 9:16 says, for this purpose, for this reason, for this will, for this season, for this time, I raise you up to show my power. Each and everybody that God already created, God wants to show his power through us. Therefore, God used Pharaoh's rebellious, Pharaoh disobedient, display his supremacy over Egyptians' gods, so that people will not be thinking, oh, our God is more powerful than the God of Israel. So God now displays his supremacy over Egyptians' gods. Therefore reveals his covenant faithfulness with Abraham, his covenant faithfulness. So also demonstrate that he alone is God, not the God of the Egypt. This was not random cruelty. It was redemptive historical judgment. Therefore, when you look at the theological interpretation, you'll be able to see Calvinist view. The Calvinist view, God sovereignly ordains all events. His sovereignty, he already ordained all events. That is what the Calvinist view talks about. They also believe that a Pharaoh was part of divine decree. Just like you and I, we are also part of divine decree. Also, hardening demonstrates divine election. So what about Armenian view? These are some of the heresies, the Calvinists, the Armenians, some of the heresies. What is the view of the Armenians? So Pharaoh freely chose to rebel. He was disobedient. So God later confirmed him in that choice. So when somebody has been stealing, and when they arrest him, they say, he's a thief. What about hardening? Is a judicial, not coercive. Hardening is a judicial to pass the law. So what is about the compatibilist view? These people view that God's sovereignty and humanity responsibility operate simultaneously. They also believe that Pharaoh acts willingly. They also believe that God uses that action for his purpose. So what is the broader biblical principle about the book of Exodus chapter 9? What is this talking about? It's talking about when people repeatedly resist truth. When people continuously, God says, obey, 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 obey. I said Jesus, I said, when you repeatedly resist the truth, therefore, their heart grows dull. Their heart grows dull. Also, spiritual sensitivity decrease. They will not be sensitive. They will not be sensitive about the spiritual realm. Judgment becomes confirmation. That's the fact. Jesus referenced similar spiritual hardening in the book of the Gospel of Matthew 13:14-15. So let's see the spiritual lesson. What are the key spiritual lessons that we learn from this passage? Repeated resistance harden the heart. When you God says do this and you are repeating, you refuse to obey, your heart will be hardened. That means it's not your heart is hardened. Holy Spirit will not be speaking with you. So we just leave you to do your worst. So God is patient, yes, but not indefinitely. God is patient, but not forever. Oh, God is patient, God is love, but you have forgotten that God Bible also says that God is a consuming fire. He came as a sheep, but he's coming back as a lion. So God is patient, but not indefinitely, not permanently. Judgment can take the form of giving someone's over. Just leave him so that when he was poor, when he's going to be punished, maybe he's going to come back to his senses. Also, divine sovereignty never cancel human accountability. Divine sovereignty will never, does not, shall not cancel human accountability. Everybody will account. You must be accountable for all your deeds that you do when you are alive. So, in final conclusion, in the book of Exodus chapter 9 verse 12, does not mean God forced an innocent Pharaoh into evil. God did not force him. God did not compel him. God already sent warnings. Go to Moses, go to Pharaoh and tell him, let my people go. And he responded that, who is that God? We are not going to let you go. By the time God started doing so many things, he said, okay, let your men go. But you must not go far. Okay, let your women go. Okay, let your children go. Okay, let your animal go. But after doing all those things, by the time they left, he was also pursuing them. So God did not force Pharaoh into evil. He was the one that was doing the evil because he allowed devil to use him. So it means Pharaoh persistently rejected God. He has been rejecting God. That who is that God? I am God because I'm the one ruling the entire world. So who is that God? Where is that God coming from? That is saying I should let you go. It is not possible. So God confirmed him in his choosing rebellion. That the reason why I had in his mind is because I let him be to choose what he wants to do so that I can be God. Therefore, God uses his hardness to display divine glory and deliver Israel. That's when God have been telling your enemy, leave this man alone, and they refuse. God will now, by the time God steps in, and they will step out. So that's what the Bible is talking about. I believe you have learned one or two things. If you have, please put your comment down. God bless you as you do so, and help us to share. Shalom.